You're live. So I'm going to ask this question to myself and also to people watching this in the future. Should I hire an eBay lister part-time? That's what I should have put. Should I hire a part-time eBay lister? So I'm going to pose this question to you guys. This is something that I've toyed with for a while now since I started listing on eBay in April of last year. So I'm about 15 months into doing eBay, excuse me, which is not that long. But I've kind of learned the ropes a little bit, and there's things I like about it, things I don't like about it. But one thing for sure is it's really difficult to do FBA and eBay by yourself, especially having to create different listings on eBay versus Amazon. I find an item, I just have to scan it in. It's pretty easy to list it and get it up and running, or get the item, listed and shipped out and all that stuff. But eBay is much slower between the photos and having to create my own listing. Even though I do create templates that make it quick or make it faster and more efficient, and as I get through like doing lots and doing CDs and things like that, it can be a little more efficient. But nonetheless, doing them both at the same time and having to do the sorting through the Gaylords and organizing and all that stuff makes it pretty difficult to really maximize eBay. Basically, I can list as many as 1,000 items on eBay with my current store, which is I think like 79, 80 bucks. I think it's $79 a month. And I probably don't even list half of that consistently. Probably more like maybe 300 on a good month. So I've never fully tested eBay to list 1,000 items a month consistently, or even, bumped up against it to see the kind of sales I would get. So basically, yeah, should I hire a part-time eBay lister? I did. I don't know if you guys are part of that Nextdoor website. It's some. I just popped up a while back. I don't know if it was last year. I guess since last year, that's true. I've been a part of it, where it's based upon the neighborhood you live in, and it brings in people, that are like literally your neighbors in your actual neighborhood, in your vicinity, very close, within like a mile or two radius at most. And a lot of people post stuff on there about things going on in the neighborhood. They say, oh, I'm looking for a plumber, looking for someone to redo my kitchen tile, and a gardener, and all that type of stuff. You can also post, I assume, a job listing. I'll find out anyway. So I already wrote one up. I'm just waiting to see what you guys have to say about it, to see if you guys suggest that I do this. This would be somebody who, the idea is to hire somebody who will work from their home, and they would pick up the stuff from me, list it, bring it back. I give them some more stuff to list. It'd probably start out like 10, 15 hours a week, just so I can get them through the process, or get them comfortable doing it, get them to, hopefully be more efficient with it, and using the templates and all that type of stuff. Excuse me. And hopefully I would go from, like I said, hi, how you doing? Good evening. Excuse me. Jeez. Here it's 6 p.m. So we're getting close to the evening, late. Well, I guess it's early evening, but it's still light out. So this would be somebody that would, let's say they did 10 to 15 hours a week. I'd like them to list probably at least 50 to 100 items on a weekly basis. So that would be at least 200 to 400 in there. Let's say 300, 250, 300 for the first month or so, which would be, over time would increase, and hopefully get up to, I'd ideally like them to do 100 a week, maybe doing 15 to 20 hours a week. And these would be individual listings versus lots. Lots would be something I'd probably, at some point want them to do as well. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think. I'm thinking that, so the downside or the potential issues are, having to hire somebody. So I post an ad, whether it's on Nextdoor, and then I can also try Craigslist. So I gotta, deal with hiring somebody. So I gotta find somebody that I can trust, which is always difficult. Hey Terry, how you doing? I know a lot of people have told me try friends and family. It's a good idea. I don't have too much family here, but I mean, aside from my immediate family here, but I don't know too many people in that respect. But I can probably ask around a little bit. But I figure it's nice to try to hire somebody here, very local, super local. Um, but yeah, so the hiring process, the training, which isn't going to be too involved because it's pretty simple. But as I know that there's still even a job like this, people are probably still going to find or have issues with it, and I understand that if you've never done it before or that type of thing. So there's a learning curve for the person that I would hire, a learning curve for me about ironing out all the details. And like I said before, is trusting someone and then giving up a certain level of control. The other thing is, from what I understand, using eBay, I cannot, like with Amazon, create a separate login and then have permissions put on it so that they can only access, let's say they can only list or whatever it may be. So this person would have access to my eBay account, which isn't that big of a deal because the money is all transferred over to PayPal anyway. And in order to access PayPal, you have to have that account information, which I, of course, would not give anybody. And also worst case scenario, if I were to hire somebody and it eventually didn't work out and they ended up, I don't know, being a crazy person, I could change the password on my eBay account. So I figured that's kind of like the worst case scenario. But the biggest benefit for me would be to free up more time to do FBA, basically, to send in more shipments, get through more Gaylords, that type of thing. Because if I have somebody that I can do most of the eBay listing for me, do like 90% of it, then that means as I find more eBay stuff, I can just collect it, put it in a box, and as they get through other stuff, I can give them that, and just keep the system going. So I don't have to do that. I basically would just do the shipping for now. So just free up more time. That'd be the number one biggest thing. Of course, I want somebody to list more, which means I would sell more, which means that more money would be made on eBay. Of course, but I think even more important than making more money on eBay is to free up the time so I can, focus more on FBA. Because the alternative is basically I just get rid of all this extra stuff, try to sell it off altogether to somebody else who maybe does eBay or does swap meets or has our store, or, whatever it is. That's an alternative to just not do eBay at all. But I've seen the good money that there is in it. So I figure, it could be worth a shot. Of course, testing eBay with more items listed to kind of see where I can take it. Some of the stuff I have listed has been up there a while. That's clearly not selling that fast. So maybe taking down some of that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Time, and that's my biggest thing is time, is limited time. So that's why I see the money that I'm able to make sending in the CDs and certain books off of it with FBA. And I know if I can put way more time into that versus into eBay, I know that I can make a lot more money at it because I'm making more money doing Amazon, doing FBA than I am eBay. And it's consistent and it continues to grow, well, as long as I continue to ship in more items. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the biggest issue is time for sure. So which is why I'd want to do it. So I don't know. There's 4 of you here. I'm sure, when more people watch this down the road, maybe you guys can chime in the comments below. But what do you guys think? Should I hire? Should I try to hire somebody at least? I just don't see how I can continue to sustain this doing Amazon or FBA and eBay just by myself. Just trying to get through. You can see right here. You can't really see it. I've got all these stacks of CDs that I have taken pictures of and gotten ready for doing eBay lots. Exactly. Just don't sleep. Yeah, just don't sleep. Don't get any exercise. Don't spend any time with the family. Yeah, absolutely. if I was just me doing this and I was, didn't have a family, and then maybe I could work, 16 hours a day and just go to sleep and then wake up and do it again. But yeah, for sure, it's big issue is time. So yeah, just wondering, I feel like I should try it out at least, because yeah, I live near I live in a college town and nearby a bunch of colleges, and I don't know if students could be good for this because of, they're good with computers and that sort of thing. But I'm a little hesitant with young people because yeah, because they're doing school and they might not be as reliable. They can be trustworthy, but they might not be as reliable, as consistent, because they're doing. I tried to hire somebody doing their schoolwork before, like last year, and a student, and they seemed all gung ho about it, and then they just suddenly, like the day before they were supposed to come to start or to learn about it, said that, oh no, I don't have the time, I have to focus on my studies. So I'm not going to get mad at them for being busy at school. It makes sense, but I'm thinking, and there could be some students that want to make some money, extra money. I'd be paying minimum wage here in California, which is $10.50. So depending on how many hours, that's about what is that, about $100 for 10 hours a week. So $400 a month. It's money, right? So if somebody wants that extra money to go out or whatever they need the money for as a student, then definitely it can be something, especially if it's something that they can do, 10, 15 hours, knock it out. Another thing is stay-at-home moms, even people that are retired but want to make a little extra money to supplement their income or have something else to do. Those are some potentially good, good people to hire. And I know here where I live, there's a lot of stay-at-home moms. There's a lot all over, but there's, between the students and the stay-at-home moms, there's also a lot of retired people in the area where I live too. Yeah, well, the other strategy, and Greg mentioned this from Busproof, Greg Murphy, he said, is to find somebody who's more entrepreneurial and say, I'll split the profits with you 50-50. So they list them whenever they sell, I give them half basically. So after all the fees and everything, we'll split the profits. So my assumption is it would be harder to find someone like that, but that's a way to protect myself against having to put out money, any money at all, and just more of the putting a system in place where I would be able to track the sales and know exactly what I owe them, basically. So that would have to, I could probably create SKUs, or they could create SKUs with their name in it, that type of thing. So I know all the sales that they had will, what do you call it? Then I'll give them half. So, but I don't know. What do you think, guys? Would that be? I'm trying to think of somebody that it seems like most people that would do something like this would want instant money. And I understand if somebody's more entrepreneurial, then this is, I would think they would be doing something entrepreneurial, but I don't know. I guess it depends. Paying somebody hourly is good because, I pay them and that's it. I don't have to pay them any more money, so they don't get any more of this, when the items sell. And they're not my employee, but I can basically, I need things done a certain way, that type of thing. I would tell somebody else I was splitting with as well, but it seems like it's just a different type of setup, a different dynamic. Right. Right. But my issue is that I have so many CDs and items to list on eBay that I just can't get around to it. They just sit there and I just very, very, very slowly get to them. And the priority now is all of these CDs that I've built up that were FBA duds, but I can sell in genre specific or, you know, genre specific CD lots or by artist or by group or that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, hiring a sourcer, the thing is I don't need more stuff to sell. I need to sell what I have, kind of a thing. Kofi says Gray's idea is not bad. I mean, do you think people would, I mean, I could go two different routes. I'm sure if I posted for the hourly that I would get responses, because people, you know, there's people that want to work. So, but I wonder how many responses I would get if I were to list it as I'm looking for an entrepreneurial person who's looking to I don't know, because it's weird because the setup is like it's my inventory, so I'm basically just using their labor and hours. So there's no guarantee of how much money they'll make, but you know, it could be an option. I don't know. I haven't thought that one through as much versus the person working hourly. And, you know, that's the other thing is I hire somebody that works 10, 15 hours a week to start. I got to pay them. And so, you know, it's going to come out of the eBay profits. And I am making money on eBay, but not a lot. So it's the good and bad. So that's the thing. Like I have to pay them. But then the good thing is eBay, I get paid immediately. So I can just pull the money out when I need to pay them, kind of a deal. But it's a bit of a gamble in terms of there just not being as much data for eBay like Amazon. So when I put something up to list it, I'm not nearly as certain as I am with FBA based on the data as to how soon or how sure I am that I'll sell something for the price that I listed it, or that I'll sell it at all. A lot of this listing on eBay stuff in general is kind of like guesswork, because all you can really do is look up the sales history of a certain item. I mean, on eBay, from what I understand, there's other services that will go back further than eBay does, than I think like 3 months or so. It'll go back like a year more, even a couple years, but those are things I believe you have to pay for. So aside from that, the sales history, there's not like sales rank or anything like that, or like a chart you can look up, as far as I understand. So it's kind of guesswork to a certain degree when it comes to eBay, and finding out what works and what doesn't, what sells and what doesn't, which is what I've been doing with the CD lots. And I've done a little bit with the book lots. Right. Well, it's all, I mean, Terry says, I've always wondered how you make a buying decision about things for eBay without being able to scan them. So basically it's opening up the eBay app. You can actually, the eBay app does have a scanning function. You can scan the barcode, but it doesn't always show. It's weird. You can scan the barcode, but it doesn't always show all of the copies. Because then if you go in there and you manually type in the title of it, the name of the book or CD or whatever, sometimes more of them will pop up. So it's a little weird. That's the other thing about it. But you can scan a barcode with the app, and it'll show you what's available, and then you can put, you know, sold, what's sold recently, and it'll show you if anything has sold. I believe it only goes back 3 months. I could be wrong, could be a little bit more, but it doesn't go back, you know, 6 months or a year. Definitely not a year. So I think I've only gone back like 3 or 4 months. I've seen a sale. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, you look it up and you see how many offers there are, what are those prices, and then what it's sold for recently, how often it's been selling. And that's basically how you make your decision. But that all takes way more time, because you've got to look it up, you know, all of that, versus using FBA scan or whatever. You can just scan it and all the data is on that one screen. And unless it's something you have to go deeper and go into Keepa, pretty much you can make a decision right then in a couple seconds or so. And eBay's not the same. So eBay usually, though, like stuff that, so if you see like a bunch of the same author, a bunch of the same, you know, type of music, or similar artist, or same artist, same group, then you can say, oh, maybe I can sell all those. Like I know, for instance, the Rich Dad Poor Dad books do pretty well not do well. They don't do well individually on eBay, but if you put like 5, 6, 7 of them or more together, you can make some decent money selling them in a lot. I have one up for sale now. I haven't sold it yet because it's brand new, experience with it, but trying to sell it for a little over $40 for, I think I have 7 of them in the lot, and they're selling for that price. So yeah, that's kind of what it boils down to, which is kind of why it's a pain in the butt a little bit. So yeah, guys, I appreciate the input. I noticed there was somebody who made a comment either in my previous video or the one before it, where all they said was make shorter videos. Do you guys feel that my videos are too long? Whoops. Yeah. Because I thought it was, well, I thought it was kind of a ridiculous thing, because I'm live streaming, so this is not an edited video where I can edit it all down to like succinct, 5, 6, 7 minutes of me talking, some fancy editing and music and whatever, and make it under 10 minutes. This is me, live talking, saying, let me think, I don't know, all the fun stuff that goes with being live. So I thought that was kind of a ridiculous comment, but that's what happens. And then I enjoy when I get a thumbs down on my video, because I always wonder why. I mean, maybe that guy gave me a thumbs down because he or she felt like the video was too long. But I always wonder why I get a thumbs down. Maybe the title. Yeah, for sure. It helps with listing. Yeah. So, and there are ways of doing live streaming where I can add pre-edited video clips in. I don't believe I can do it. I need to use a different type of software, and I'm gonna have to figure that out if I'm gonna ever do it. But that could be fun one time. Once I figure it out, I could have I could start the live stream, and I could say, all right, guys, welcome to my channel, blah, blah, blah. And I could do a pre-recorded intro video, and then I could throw in a couple of videos here and there if it made sense. So that's something that I think a lot of the live streamers are able to do when they use a separate software. And the reason that I started doing live videos is because lack of time to shoot and edit a video the way that I want. I mean, I remember doing for a while, for months, doing daily vlogs, edited vlogs, which was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it ended up becoming a big chore. And doing it daily, Monday through Friday, was probably way too much and ridiculous. Probably been better to do it maybe like 2 or 3 times, which is what I was doing before. But basically, it just got to be too much. Yeah, so that was basically the video, guys. So I don't want to make it too long. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. Otherwise, I'm probably going to end the video. It's about 6:20. It's 6:22 here. We're going to have to make someone else just joined in. There's 7 of you now. Oh no. Well, hopefully, yeah, no problem. Hopefully the videos are giving you some motivation and getting you into gear, that sort of thing. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I'll see if anyone chimes in the comments below about whether or not I should try and hire somebody, and whether I should go the route of hourly worker or try to find somebody who would be willing to do it, to split the profits with me. I'm just thinking on their end, they're basically taking the same risk that I'm taking, aside from they don't have to pay for the items that we're selling, but they're giving their time over to it, in hopes that the stuff sells. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But yeah. All right, guys. So this has been a little shorter video than normal. We didn't get too much into chatting here in the chat, but I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will think it over and either post that tonight, or if I don't, maybe tomorrow, and let you guys know what the decision I've come to, right or wrong. So thanks for tuning in, guys. And as always, remember, keep booking.